This is Congaree National Park, a quiet floodplain forest in South Carolina and one of the most overlooked landscapes in the entire national park system. There are no overlooks here, no scenic drives, and no dramatic peaks. Just towering old-growth trees, dark water, and an ecosystem that feels largely unchanged for centuries.
Hi everyone, it's Urmi and Sanjay from Jet Setting with Us. This episode, we're exploring Congaree National Park. This park protects the last remaining old-growth bottomland hardwood forest in the United States. This park is defined by seasonal flooding, massive trees, and a stillness that is becoming increasingly rare to find anywhere.
As soon as we stepped onto the boardwalk, it became apparent to us why this park really matters. Bald cypress and tupelo rise directly out of the floodplain, fallen leaves collect in the water below, and the forest just seems to absorb sound. Coming from New York City, it's a different kind of environment, right? This is a different type of national park experience. While other parks are really known for their spectacle, this park is much more about the immersion. If you enjoy quiet trails, unique ecosystems, and the chance to just get yourself absorbed into nature, Congaree might be worth your time. If you enjoy travel vlog content like this, be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss what's coming next. So that being said, let's dive into it.
Getting to Congaree is surprisingly easy. We flew into Columbia, which is only about a 30-minute drive from the park entrance. If you're coming from further away, Charlotte and Charleston are also good options, though both add a longer drive. For accommodations, we based ourselves outside of Columbia. Staying in the city gives you the most flexibility, with easy access to the park during the day and restaurants and services in the evening. Downtown and the Vista District are both convenient areas, especially if you're visiting for a long weekend. If you're planning a similar trip, we've linked to flight, car rental, and hotel options in the description below.
As soon as you leave the visitor center and get onto that boardwalk loop, you're immediately surrounded by water, exposed roots, and trees that seem to ignore the usual boundary between land and swamp. You'll understand quite quickly what I meant earlier when I said that this park is about the immersion and not the spectacle. What surprised us was just how quiet this park really gets. We're so accustomed to some of the other places which just get super crowded. But here, the forest seems to absorb the sound, and it makes it feel larger and more isolated than it actually might be. And because you're not at elevation, you're not focused on the distant views. You're focused on the things around you, like just how large the trunks are, or the reflections in the water, or the light coming through the leaves.
Part of the boardwalk was closed during our visit, which led us onto Sims Trail. Stepping off the boardwalk changes the experience. The trail is less structured, the ground feels softer, and the forest closes in a bit more. It feels less like an exhibit and more like moving through a living system. Taken together, these trails give you an honest first impression of Congaree. It doesn't have the wow factor mountain parks do, but it's very peaceful in its own way. If you enjoy landscapes that reveal themselves gradually, this is the kind of place that stays with you.
The boardwalk is nice, but Urmi and I really prefer a little bit more of a uncurated, authentic experience when we go to the national parks. The Weston Lake Loop is where Congaree stopped feeling curated and started to feel authentic. This trail pulls you deeper into the floodplain, away from the structured introduction of the boardwalk and into a quieter, more expansive part of the forest. What stood out most here was the relationship between water and trees. The lake isn't excessively scenic or wide open, but it creates space. Reflections stretch the forest outward, and the stillness becomes more noticeable. You're not looking at the landscape so much as standing inside it.
This is also where the cypress knees really begin to stand out. Rising from the water and forest floor in irregular clusters, they really give the floodplain a sculptural quality, part root system, part mystery. They're one of the most distinctive features of bald cypress forests, and seeing them up close makes the ecosystem feel both ancient and alive.
There's a subtle rhythm to this loop. Long stretches of silence, occasional wildlife sounds, mostly squirrels and birds, and moments where the light breaks through the canopy and briefly transforms the water's surface. This is where the scale of the forest really registers, not through height alone, but through continuity. Everything feels connected.
Walking this trail, we understood why Congaree matters. It isn't preserved because it's spectacular in a postcard sense, but because ecosystems like this almost disappeared. What remains here feels patient and resilient, a glimpse of what large, intact forests once looked like across the southeast.
By the time we finished at Congaree, it felt less like a place that we had visited and more like a place we were allowed to move through. Next, here are our road tips to make the most of your trip to Congaree National Park. Tip number 1. Most trails take off from the boardwalk, and so you don't need a separate dedicated boardwalk trip if you're planning to go on one of the trails. As an example, Weston Lake Loop takes off from the southeastern part of the boardwalk, and the visitor center and the entrance to the boardwalk is on the north. If you're going to do the Weston Lake Loop, you're going to end up walking on the boardwalk, taking the loop around the Weston Lake Loop, and then come back up the center of the boardwalk through the Sims Trail. So you don't need a separate boardwalk trip and then going back up Sims Trail, because if you do the Weston Lake Loop, you do it anyway. That's a mistake that we made. So if you have a short trip or you're trying to limit your redundancy, just keep that in mind when you're planning your trip.
Tip number 2. Congaree is a walking park, not a driving park. There's no scenic drive or overlooks. All of the memorable experiences here happen on foot. You want to plan your time accordingly because you won't find any quick drive-up highlights.
Tip number 3. Late fall is the perfect time to visit Congaree. There's less heat, less crowds, and perhaps most importantly, less mosquitoes. But that also means there's less daylight. So just plan your trip accordingly if you want to make it out of the park before dark.
Finally, tip number 4. Congaree is also known for a synchronous firefly display in late spring. However, the most well-known location for this is Great Smoky Mountains National Park.
So here's our overall opinion on Congaree National Park. If you're an enthusiast and you really like unique ecosystems, or if you want to see every single national park like Orme and I do, then make your time and go see this. You could probably do the whole thing in one day. Otherwise, if you're just an average visitor, you probably can skip Congaree National Park. It wasn't all that exciting, and in my opinion, didn't justify the flight to go out.
If you found this video to be useful, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and share this content with your friends. It really helps us grow our channel.
And let us know in the comments below. Did you like Congaree National Park if you visited? And if so, what did you like most about it? If you haven't been, do you want to go after seeing some of these videos? We'd love to hear from you.
We look forward to seeing you on our next adventure. Bye for now!